Now let us go to see a very small place with a big miracle, and it is called Bethany. It is a very short distance from Jerusalem, just 3.2 kilometers. It is en route to Jerusalem, on the eastern slopes of Mount Olives. This place has been very famous at the time of Lazarus. Lazarus' home was situated in Bethany, and he had two sisters called Mary and Martha. Jesus used to go often to Lazarus' home en route to have some rest and to visit them. Today near the site is the Arab village called El Azariah, which means Lazarus. It's named after Lazarus. According to written documents and archaeologic evidence, the area was settled in ancient times. Bethany is particularly known about the raising of Lazarus, which is written in John chapter 11. The tomb hewn in the rock within a cave with steps leading down to the burial chamber. John is the only gospel writer who writes John chapter 11 so interestingly about Lazarus. We will see here that Martha and Mary informed Jesus that their brother was sick, and they expected him to come immediately. But Jesus purposely stayed 2 more days and then he came. According to the word of God, it says that he delayed his journey for 4 days when Lazarus was already dead and laid in the grave. You notice that when Jesus came, he wept. That is the shortest verse in the Bible, John chapter 11 verse 35. And all the Jews that were there mourning with the sisters said how much he loved Lazarus. And then Jesus said that this death is not for sickness, but it is to glorify God. And here we see that Jesus looked up to the Father in heaven and he prayed and he said, Lazarus, come forth. When Jesus called Lazarus forth from the dead, his hands, his leg and his head was tied up. How could a man with all legs tied up walk through those steps from right down in the cave? This is a miracle of Jesus. According to John 11:17, the word says that he came on the 4th day. And why do you think that Jesus came on the 4th day? So there is a reason, because the Jews believed the spirit of the soul was still in the body for 3 days. And if he came within 3 days, that would have been easy for a resurrection. But when he comes on the 4th day, it was beyond a miracle that Jesus had done, that he raised him from the dead. The spirit was no more there. A dead body came back to life. That is the miracle of Lazarus. Now we move on to Capernaum, which is a very interesting place because Capernaum plays a pivotal role in the life of Jesus' ministry. After Jesus' baptism, John the Baptist was arrested, and Jesus chose to keep Capernaum as a base for his ministry. Matthew and Mark refer to Capernaum as the hometown of Jesus. From here he traveled and preached the gospel to cities and villages throughout Capernaum and around the Sea of Galilee. Capernaum is located in the northwestern shore of the Sea of Galilee. Capernaum's synagogue was built by the Roman centurion. It shows a construction of the Roman and the Jewish style. It was a political center. It was a customs port where Matthew was chosen as a tax collector. He worked there because it was a border area, and he was sitting at his desk when Jesus called him to be his disciple. It was a rule to collect tax from foreigners and from any outsiders. But the government chose to tax Jesus, and therefore you will see here that Jesus was asked to pay tax. Here you can see the house of Peter, the fisherman, who had his own house and he had his own boat. That draws the conclusion that he was not a poor fisherman, but he was a rich man. Despite Jesus' ministry and the miracles he performed there, Jesus prophesied the bitterness and the immoralities that were going on in Capernaum. He was not satisfied with the style and the way of life. And prophecy in Matthew chapter 11 verses 23 to 24. You will read that in Matthew 11:21 that Jesus said the same curse. He said, "Woe to Chorazin and woe to Bethsaida." Even today, if you go, that Capernaum, Chorazin, and Bethsaida are three cities that Jesus cursed, and they are still lying in ruins. Even today, as you go, drive past, or if you go, you can see the ruins still lying as it was in the time of Jesus.